Good evening, children. Welcome to YepMaster, the school foundation program. How are you guys? I think you are enjoying, right? So today, let us discuss some more questions related to the alkanes chapter. Okay, yesterday in last two classes we have discussed about the previous competitive examination questions, and some more are left in that. So let us discuss those questions today with respect to the alkanes and their preparation properties and the chemical as well as physical properties and their applications in day to day life as well. Okay. So previous examination questions with respect to the alkanes. First one, the alkane that yields two isomeric mono-bromo derivatives. So we should identify an alkane that is going to give us two isomeric mono-bromo derivatives. So mono-bromo derivatives are when the bromination is going to be carried out, when the halogenation reaction is carried out on alkane. So that alkane is going to give us two different isomeric mono-bromo derivatives. So here, as we know that in the case of alkanes, the halogenation takes place. Alkane generally undergo substitution reaction. So hydrogen atom of alkane is replaced with a halogen atom. So in this case we are carrying out the bromination reaction. So bromine atom replacing the hydrogen atom in the case of alkane. So we have to select an alkane which is going to have two different types of hydrogen atoms. So if alkane has two different types of hydrogen atoms, then it is going to give us two different isomeric mono-bromo derivatives. Okay. So first we have to identify the alkane which is having different hydrogen atoms. The only two different types of hydrogen atoms are required, and if they are going to have a similar kind of hydrogen atoms or three different types of hydrogen atoms, in that case we are going to get different products. So according to this particular question, we should choose an alkane which is having two different types of hydrogen atoms. So replacement of those hydrogen atoms will give us two different isomeric mono-bromo derivatives in the bromination reaction. Okay. Right. When you look at the first option, it is a neopentane. Neopentane. Neopentane means we are going to look at the structure. When you look at the structure, actually in that case we can write the neopentane as CH3, 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 CH3. So the carbon is going to have 4 CH3 groups. Okay. And when you observe the hydrogens, here the hydrogens, 3 hydrogens, 3 hydrogens, 3 hydrogens, 3 hydrogens. Total we have how many hydrogens? 12 hydrogens are there. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, 12 hydrogens are there. Okay. All the 12 hydrogens are of same kind. All the hydrogens are of same kind. Okay. So therefore all hydrogens are of same kind. So it has only one type of hydrogen atoms. Okay. One type of hydrogen atoms are present. So if I am going to substitute these hydrogen atoms with the bromine, we are going to get only one type of product. If I replace here, or if I am going to replace here, if I am going to replace here or here, we are going to get, or we are going to end up with the formation of only one bromo derivative product. It is not possible to get two different types of mono-bromo derivatives from neopentane, because all the hydrogen atoms are similar, are of one kind. Okay. So this is not the alkane which we are looking for. Okay. Right. So looking at the next option, ethane. Ethane, we know it is CH3, CH3 is ethane. So CH3, CH3, if you observe, if you substitute bromo here or if you substitute bromo here, it is one and the same. So if you are substituting the bromo in one case, we are going to get CH3, CH2Br. Okay. In other case, we are going to get CHBr, CH2, CH3. So replacement of either of the hydrogens. If I am substituting on second hydrogen with the bromine atom, we are going to get this product. And in the other case, if I am substituting here and getting the product, we are getting the same product. So both are same products, because CH3, CH2Br, this is also CH3, CH2Br, both are same. So only one kind of product we can expect from ethane by bromination, because it is also going to possess, ethane also has only one type of hydrogen atoms. It has only one type of hydrogen atoms. Only one type of hydrogen atoms are present in the case of ethane as well. Right. Let us look at the third option given. It is methane. CH4, so all the hydrogens in CH4 are identical, so replacement of one of the hydrogen with the bromine we get CH3Br, only one type of product is obtained, so this is also not the option which we are looking for. Then look at propane. What is propane? Propane we can write it as CH3, CH2, CH3. CH3, CH2, CH3. So CH3, CH2, CH3 if you observe, the hydrogens, these three hydrogens and these three hydrogens are of one kind, okay. So these two are of one kind, okay, one type of hydrogens. But if you observe the middle carbon also has two hydrogen atoms. So these two hydrogens are of the second kind, okay. Two types of hydrogens are present in the case of propane. So propane formula we know it is CH3, CH2, CH3. So that CH3 at this end and CH3 at this end both are identical and they are going to have only one type of hydrogens. 3 and 3 total 6 hydrogens are of one kind, okay. And if you look at the middle carbon having two hydrogens, these two hydrogens are of the second kind. These two hydrogens are of second kind. So second kind means it is going to produce, I mean it has, the molecule has, alkane has two different types of hydrogen atoms. Two different types of hydrogen atoms are present in the propane. So we can expect two different types of mono bromo derivatives. How the reaction is going on and how different products are going to be formed. Let us see. As we know that CH3, CH2, CH3, it is reacting with the bromine in the presence of light, okay, H nu. We are going to get two products. First one is I am replacing one of the hydrogen atom of the terminal CH3. So we are going to get CH3, CH2, CH2Br. This is one product that we are going to get. Plus another product that we can observe in this case is if we are going to substitute the middle carbon hydrogen, the hydrogen which are present in the middle carbon atom, they are going to be substituted with the bromine. In that case we are going to get CH3, CHBr, CH3. So in one case we are replacing the hydrogens from here, okay. So one of the terminal carbon hydrogen I am replacing with the bromine, so we are getting this product, okay. And if we are going to replace the hydrogens present on the second carbon atom, we are going to end up with the formation of this product. So one product is 1 bromo propane, other product is 2 bromo propane. So two different bromo products are going to be obtained. So this is the alkane which is going to give us two different mono bromo derivatives. So correct option is propane. Propane is the correct option which is going to give us two different types of isomeric mono bromo derivatives, okay. So look at the products, we are getting two different products. How the product, two different products are obtained? Two different products are obtained because of the presence of two different types of hydrogen atoms in the molecule. So whenever a question is given, in order to identify based on the number of the isomeric mono halogen derivatives, halo derivatives, in that case we have to look at the number of hydrogen atoms. If the two different hydrogen atoms are present, we get two different products. If the alkane is having three different types of hydrogen atoms, in that case we are going to get three different types of products. If the alkane is going to have all or one type of hydrogen atoms, only one halo bromo derivative, mono bromo derivative or mono halo derivative product is going to be formed in the process, okay. So you should be very careful in order to select the alkane which is having two different types of hydrogen atom. First write the structure, then look at the position of the hydrogens and replace those hydrogens with the bromine or which given halogen and write the products. If the products are coming out to be identical, the hydrogen atoms are identical in nature, okay. Right, let us look at the next one. The chemicals and the reaction conditions required for the preparation of ethane. So we are supposed to look into the given options, the reaction chemicals as well as the reaction conditions through which we can prepare ethane, okay. So we have to identify that particular reaction condition as well as the chemicals. So if you observe the first one, methyl iodide, ethyl iodide on reaction with the zinc and copper in ethanol. Zinc, copper, these are the reducing agents. What are these? These are the reducing agents, okay. So reducing agents are present along with the alkyl halide. As we have discussed in the preparation of the corresponding alkanes from the alkyl halides, whenever the alkyl halides are treated with the zinc copper ethyl alcohol, in that case what we are going to get? We are going to end up with the formation of the corresponding alkane. So here the alkyl halide taken is C2H5I, that is ethyl iodide. So when we are taking C2H5I as a starting material and using the same conditions of zinc and copper in ethyl alcohol, we end up with the formation of C2H6. What is C2H6? C2H6 is ethane. C2H6 is ethane. So the chemicals and reaction condition required for the preparation of ethane is the first option. First option is the correct option in this particular case. Then what about the other ones? What about the other conditions? Why they are not going to give us the ethane as a product? Okay, let us look at that one also. Second one, if we observe here, so this is alkyl halide in the presence of sodium, but not a dry condition is maintained. What we require? This generally alkane preparation with the help of sodium and alkyl halide takes place in Wood's reaction, but Wood's reaction required, what are the conditions required? We require dry condition. Dry condition in the sense no moisture at all, no moisture at all. So but actually what they have given? They have mentioned here water. So water is not going to be used as a reaction condition for the preparation of alkane. But if it is given as a dry condition, then in that case we can expect the formation of ethane. Here ethane is not going to be formed, the metal is going to be reacting with the water instead of reacting with the alkyl halide. So dry condition have to be maintained. So here dry condition is not given. So second option is ruled out, right? Let us look at the third one. It is an salt, carboxylic acid salt under electrolysis process. But one thing you can observe here that the middle carbon atoms are having double bonds in it. Middle carbon atoms are having double bond. This is a coal base reaction only, there is no doubt. Okay, it is a coal base electrolysis only. But in coal base electrolysis we get alkanes from normal saturated carboxylic acid, but what we have taken, what is the given here is unsaturated carboxylic acid, so potassium salt. Unsaturated carboxylic acid potassium salt is given. Unsaturation means double bond presence. Generally we use for the preparation of alkane, what we are going to use? We are going to use saturated carboxylic acid, its potassium salt or sodium salt. But here unsaturated compound is used. In that case the product is going to be an alkane only. Alkene is obtained but not alkane. What we require? We require ethane. Ethane is an alkane, but what we are going to get is alkene. Ethene is going to be obtained in this process, which we are going to discuss in alkenes chapter. Okay, so here this is not the condition, so this is also ruled out because here the double bond is present in the molecule, so this is ruled out, right? So what could be the product that obtained from the fourth one, D option? It is the sodium salt of acetic acid under soda lime conditions and heating. Yeah, the condition is going to give us alkane but not ethane. What we require? We require ethane as a product, but here we are going to get methane. How we are going to get methane? It is a decarboxylation process. So sodium salt of carboxylic acid when treated with sodium hydroxide and calcium oxide under heating conditions, what is going to happen? The COO part is going to be removed as carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is lost, what we are going to left here? Only one carbon. So corresponding alkane is going to be obtained. So methane is obtained but not the ethane. So therefore the fourth option is also ruled out. Okay, so all the options B, C, D are ruled out. In B condition, dry conditions are not mentioned. Okay, water is present, so that is ruled out. In the second C1, if you observe, we have an unsaturated carboxylic acid. It leads to alkene formation, not alkane formation. Fourth will give us alkane, but not required. What is required? Ethane is required, but what we are getting? Methane. So this is also ruled out. So the correct option for this particular question is the first one, which is going to be a reduction reaction from alkyl halides and with the reducing agents like zinc, copper in ethyl alcohol condition, we get corresponding alkane of the alkyl halide, that is ethane. Okay, so you have to analyze all the options given in the question and then give the correct answer. Okay. Next one. a liquid hydrocarbon is converted to a mixture of gaseous hydrocarbon. Liquid hydrocarbon converting into a gaseous hydrocarbon, that process is known as, what is that process known as? Converting of the higher alkanes. What are liquid hydrocarbons? When we are discussing about the physical properties, the physical states, okay. So the carbon alkanes having 1 to 4 carbon atoms, they exist in nature as gases, okay. Whereas the carbon atoms, alkane having carbon atom 1 to around 8 carbon atoms, they are existing as liquids, okay. But of course the higher members after 8 or 9 carbon atoms, in that case they are going to exist as solids, because the molecular mass is increasing, the physical state is also changing. So what they are asking here, a liquid hydrocarbon is converted into a gaseous hydrocarbon, that is having lower number of carbon atoms. So we have a alkane chain with a higher number of carbon atoms, we are breaking it down into alkanes having 1 to 4 carbon atoms. So it is a cracking process. What is it? It is a cracking process, that is we are going to carry out so that we can convert a liquid hydrocarbon into a gaseous hydrocarbon. So no information is given here, they have just mentioned about the physical states of the hydrocarbon. Physical state, liquid means it is going to have medium or intermediate carbon atoms 5 to 9 or 10. But in the case of gases, generally lower members of the alkanes are gases, middle members are liquids, the heavier members of the alkane series are solids. So from that we can easily identify a liquid is converting into gas means we are decreasing the number of carbon atoms present in the carbon chain. So it is a cracking process that we are carrying out, so that we can get the alkanes having lower number of carbon atoms, okay. Yeah, fourth one, which of the following carboxylic acid can undergo decarboxylation on simple heating even in the absence of soda lime? So as I told you, when we are discussing the preparation methods, the carboxylic acid, sodium salt of carboxylic acid generally heated in the presence of soda lime, so that we can get corresponding alkane. But there are some carboxylic acids which doesn't require the soda lime, just heating is sufficient, just heat it, then you get the corresponding the alkane. Which carboxylic acid will undergo this kind of reaction? So the carboxylic acids in which at alpha carbon atom, if electron withdrawing group is present, in that case the decarboxylation process takes place just heating conditions only, no need of adding the soda lime is not required, okay. So presence of electron withdrawing group at alpha position of the carboxylic acid. What is alpha position? For example, when we are going to write RCH2 C double bond ONA, let us say CONA, okay. So after the carbonyl carbon, the first carbon is taken as alpha carbon, this is called as alpha carbon. The next carbon is called beta carbon, gamma carbon, delta carbon, etc. Gamma carbon, delta carbon. So alpha, beta, gamma, delta are the designation, Greek designation that we are going to give to the carbon atoms after the carbonyl compound. After this carbonyl compound, the directly attached carbon is taken as alpha, the next carbon is taken as beta, and the next carbon is taken as gamma, and next carbon is taken as delta, omega, etc. So the chain goes on. But whenever we are going to have a hydrogen, instead of hydrogen, if we are going to have an electron withdrawing group, presence of electron withdrawing group near to the COO group, that is carboxylate group, in that case automatically the carbon dioxide can be easily lost in the process just by heating, no need of usage of the soda lime, okay. Let us see the options. So in the first case there is no, this is the alpha carbon, okay, and alpha carbon always having here a continuous chain, so they are all electron donating groups, not electron withdrawing groups, okay. And if you observe here, this is alpha carbon and the next carbon is beta. On beta carbon we have a nitro group. We know that nitro group is electron withdrawing group, so presence of this group will make the reaction to takes place in absence of the soda lime. But here if you observe, the nitro group is present on the alpha carbon. In the case of B, second option, the nitro group is present, electron withdrawing group is present on beta carbon atom. But here in the case of option C, the electron withdrawing group is present on the alpha carbon atom. Since it is present on the alpha carbon atom, so this compound can easily undergo decarboxylation without the soda lime presence. Of course, this will also undergo the carboxylation, the decarboxylation process in absence of soda lime, but it is little slow in reaction compared with this one. And looking at the option D, and there is no, in this case, in this carboxylic acid, no electron withdrawing group is present, all are electron donating groups. Alkyl groups are generally considered as electron donating, not the electron withdrawing. Okay. So, electron donating groups are present. So, here the decarboxylation require soda lime. In the case of first one and the last one, we require the presence of soda lime, but in the second case and third case, option B and option C, soda lime presence is not required. But when you compare the rates of reaction which is going to undergo decarboxylation just by heating conditions, fast one will be the one in which the electron withdrawing group is present on the next carbon atom of COOH. See, after COOH, the next carbon is alpha carbon. So, alpha carbon having nitro group. So, this is undergoing decarboxylation just by heating condition. So, option C is correct in this particular question. Okay. Yeah, fifth one, which of the following will not produce ethane? Which of the following will not produce ethane? Will not produce. Okay. In the previous one we have seen that which of the following is producing ethane as a question. Okay. Now, it is in a reverse way, which of the following will not produce ethane? Let us see. Reduction of CH3COOH with HI and red phosphorus. So, whenever the carboxylic acid like RCOOH is treated with hydrogen iodide in presence of red phosphorus. So, hydrogen iodide and red phosphorus is going to act as a reducing agent, and they are going to reduce the carboxylic acid to corresponding alkane. Corresponding alkane is going to be obtained. Okay. So, here we can use carboxylic acid. This is one more method of preparation of alkanes. Okay. So, carboxylic acids, when they are treated with hydrogen iodide in the presence of red phosphorus, it is converting into corresponding alkane. We are going to discuss more mechanism details of this particular reaction when we are going to deal the carbonyl compounds. Okay. When carbonyl compounds are treated with red hydrogen iodide and red phosphorus, carbonyl compounds will convert into the corresponding alkanes. So, the intermediate that is going to be formed in this reaction is aldehyde, RCOH. RCOH further will be reduced to alkane in the presence of hydrogen iodide and red phosphorus. Okay. So, this is going to give us ethane. Of course, in this case, if you observe, what is the starting material? It is CH3COOH, acetic acid. So, when we are taking acetic acid, CH3COOH, CH3COOH when treated with hydrogen iodide in presence of red phosphorus. So, the COOH group will convert into CH3. Already we have a CH3 in the molecule, and COOH group is converting into CH3. So, we are getting CH3. What is CH3? It is ethane only. Okay. So, we are getting ethane in the first option. So, acetic acid when reduced with the hydrogen iodide and red phosphorus, we are going to end up with the formation of ethane, right. So, first option is giving ethane, it is not the correct option for us. We should select the option which is not giving ethane, which is not producing the ethane. Okay. Look at the second one. In the case of second one, it is CH3COCH3. CH3COCH3, if you observe, here it is a ketone. So, CH3COCH3 when it is reduced with the hydrogen iodide in presence of red phosphorus, what is happening? The keto group that is present, CO group that is present in the middle is going to convert into corresponding CH2. So, remove this oxygen and keep 2 hydrogens. So, what we are going to get? CH3, CH2, CH3. So, we are going to get a CH3, CH2, CH3 as a product. So, this is propane. It is giving a propane as a product. Okay, it is not ethane. So, this is the method which is not giving the ethane in our particular given options. Okay. So, second option is not producing ethane, it is producing propane instead. Okay. Right. So, when you look at the third option, decarboxylation of sodium propanoate. What is sodium propanoate? CH3 C double bond, CH3, CH2, COO-Na. So CH3, CH2, COO-Na when treated with the decarboxylation in the presence of soda lime, this carbon is going out as a carbon dioxide. So what is going to be left is CH3, CH3. So here also we are getting, in the option C also we are getting ethane. Option A is giving ethane, option B is giving propane, option C is giving ethane. So B option should be the correct one in this case. Let us also look at the fourth option as well. Okay. So in this case, if you observe hydrogenation of ethane in the presence of ranitidine should be ethene. Okay. Hydrogenation of ethene in the presence of ranitidine. Ethene is CH2 double bond CH2, which is going to be treated with the hydrogen in the presence of nickel as a catalyst. This is a Sabatier Senderens reaction. Alkene on reaction with the hydrogen giving alkane. Alkene that is taken here is ethene. Ethene converting into ethane. So third option, the fourth option also giving ethane as a product. First option, acetic acid when treated with the hydrogenated and red phosphorus as giving us ethane. Third option, C option, decarboxylation of sodium propanate also giving us ethane. Fourth option, ethene on hydrogenation giving ethane as a product. So A, C, D are giving ethane, but B is giving propane. So which of the following will not produce ethane? B option, which is not producing ethane. Okay, CH3COCH3 on reduction with hydrogen iodide and red phosphorus will give propane but not ethane. Okay, all right. Next one. When ethyl bromide is heated with a sodium in dry ether solvent, ethyl bromide heated with a sodium in dry ether solvent, the alkane obtained is ethyl bromide. Let us write ethyl bromide C2H5 Br, that is C2H5Br is ethyl bromide. Ethyl bromide on reaction with sodium in dry ether. So when we are treating with the sodium in dry ether, it is a Wurtz reaction. For that purpose, what we require? 2 moles of alkyl halide, that is ethyl bromide, reacting with the 2 moles of sodium in dry conditions, dry ether conditions. Okay, giving us 2 moles of NaBr, that is sodium bromide, and the 2 CH2H5 C2H5 will club with one another. We get C2H5 double bond C2H5. That is to say that we are getting CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. What we are getting? C2H5, C2H5 or C4H10, CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. So we are getting butane as a product. Okay. So Wurtz reaction always give us a symmetrical alkane having even number of carbon atom. Since we are using 2 moles of alkyl halide, the 2 alkyl groups will club with one another and we get the corresponding alkane. So here we are using C2H5, that is CH3 CH2Br. If I am expanding this one, we can write it as CH3 CH2Br. So CH2, this Br will go, but these two CH3 CH2s will club with one another. So we get CH3 CH2 CH2 CH3. So this is butane. So butane is the product that we are going to get in the Wurtz reaction when ethyl bromide is treated with sodium in the dry conditions. Okay. Let us see what is the option given. Butane, yeah, butane is the product. Propane, no, propane is not going to be obtained. Ethane, we are not going to get ethane. And a mixture of all the above three, no, it is not possible. We are not going to get mixture of all the three when we are employing only one alkyl halide. If we are employing two different alkyl halides, in that case we can expect a mixture of alkanes. But here only one alkyl halide, ethyl bromide, is used. Since ethyl bromide is the only alkyl halide employed in the Wurtz reaction, only one type of alkane is going to be produced, that is double the number of carbon atoms that are present in the alkyl halide. So it should be carbon having, or the alkane having 4 number of carbon atoms, so it should be butane. Okay. Yeah, what is the minimum quantity in grams of methyl iodide required for preparing 1 mole of ethane by Wurtz reaction? So this kind of question we have done in the previous one, and they have mentioned the weight of iodine as 127. Okay. So here the reaction is Wurtz reaction. So in this case methyl iodide is taken, treating with the sodium and producing ethane as a product. So let us write the reaction first. So here 2 moles of methyl iodide will react with the 2 moles of sodium under dry conditions. Okay, we would give CH3 plus 2 moles of sodium iodide. 2 moles of sodium iodide is obtained. So it's a Wurtz reaction. 2 moles of alkyl halide will react with the 2 moles of sodium, giving 1 mole of ethane and 2 moles of sodium iodide. It's a balanced equation. If you observe, we have 2 CH3s, the 2 CH3s are present, okay, 2 iodines and 2 sodiums, 2 iodines and 2 sodiums. So it is a balanced chemical reaction. What they are asking? They are asking us to, we should get 1 mole, we should get 1 mole of ethane. So here ethane obtained is 1 mole only, okay. So we should get 1 mole of ethane. So how much amount of methyl iodide should we take? That should be reported in grams. So what is the amount of this one we have to take? So according to the balanced equation, how many moles of methyl iodide is required? 2 moles of methyl iodide is required to produce 1 mole of ethane. For 1 mole of ethane production, we require 2 moles of methyl iodide. So 2 moles of methyl iodide corresponds to how many grams? That you have to calculate. Let us first calculate the molecular mass of methyl iodide. Methyl iodide is CH3I. CH3I is methyl iodide. Carbon atomic mass 12. Hydrogen atomic mass 1. How many hydrogens we have? 3. 3 ones are 3. So 3, it will be 3. Okay. What is the atomic weight of iodine? Atomic weight of iodine is mentioned here, 127. So it should be 127. Okay. 10, 12, 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2. So it is 142. Molecular weight is 142. So what will be the gram molecular weight then? Gram molecular weight will be 142 grams. When we are expressing the molecular weight in terms of grams, we take it as gram molecular weight. So gram molecular weight is 142 for 1 mole of methyl iodide. But how many moles we are using here? For 1 mole of methyl iodide, the mass is 142 grams. Okay. For 142 grams corresponds to 1 mole of methyl iodide. But actually how many moles are required in the reaction? We require 2 moles. So 2 moles will be how much weight? So it is very simple. 1 pen costs around 142 rupees. 2 pens will cost how much? 2 times of this one. So it will be 284 grams. How much we require? We require 284 grams of methyl iodide. So these kind of problems, these kind of reactions, first you have to write the balanced equation, and from the balanced equation how many moles of reactant we are using and how many moles of product we are getting, and analyze the product. In this case they are asking about only 1 mole of ethane. So according to the equation it is 1 mole only. For 1 mole how much we require? 2 moles of methyl iodide is required. 1 mole corresponds to 142 grams. So 2 mole corresponds to how much? So it will be 284 grams. So let us look at the options. 284 grams is the correct option. So option D is correct in this particular problem. Okay. Yeah, which is the chain propagation step in the following mechanism? Which is chain propagation step? As you know, the halogenation reaction proceeds via free radical mechanism. So free radical mechanism, when you observe, it has a initiation step, chain initiation step, chain propagation step, chain termination step. In chain initiation step, what we are going to get? We get radicals. Radicals are generated, free radicals are generated in chain initiation step. What about the termination? In case of termination reaction, the free radicals are going to be consumed. Okay, thereby reaction gets stopped. Termination means we are going to stop the reaction. So termination of a reaction stops by the consumption of free radicals. Okay, so in the last step free radicals are consumed, in the first step free radicals are produced. What about the chain propagation step then? In chain propagation step, reactant side we have a free radicals, and also at the product side we are going to have free radicals. So free radical is consumed at the reactant side and one more free radical is produced at the product side, so that the reaction can takes place in a chain fashion, and thereby the reaction proceeds for the completion. Okay. So one reactant side we should have free radical, and also we should have a free radical on the product side. So reactant side one free radical should present, and the product side also we should have one free radical. Okay. So here if you observe the given steps in A, what is happening? A chlorine molecule giving chlorine free radicals. So free radicals are generated. It is initiation step. It is a initiation step. Okay. Chlorine free radical reacting with the methane giving methyl free radical and HCl. So it should be small l. Okay. So chlorine radical is present at the reactant side, and one more radical is produced at the product side. So it is consumed and it is produced. So this should be the propagation. Okay. This should be the propagation step. Okay. So what is happening here? In the third one, chlorine radicals are combining together giving chlorine molecule. So it is a termination. Third step is termination. Fourth one is given methyl radical and chlorine radicals. Again combination of radical takes place and neutral molecule is produced. This is also termination. This one also a termination step. Okay. So among the given steps, which is propagation step? B is the propagation step. Okay. So we have identified the B as a propagation step, since one radical is consumed at the reactant side and one more radical is produced at the product side. So among the options if we observe, B is the correct answer. B option is the correct answer, which can be giving a radical and one radical is present at the reactant side as well. Okay. Let us look at the one more. In this case, when we have this kind of alkyl halide, when Wood's reaction is carried out, how many number of possible alkanes we can expect? Here the one thing is given, star is given. What is the star? Star indicates carbon 14 isotope. Okay. Generally the carbons present are C2 isotopes, but here they have indicated as one of them is a carbon 14 isotope. So here the reaction is proceeding via the free radical mechanism. So when this reaction is taking place, 2 moles of the alkyl halide will react with the 2 moles of sodium. Under dry conditions will give the product. So different products that we can get in this particular reaction, I am writing here. Okay. So the stars are present as it is. Okay. This is one product we can expect, plus in the process it is proceeding through the formation of a radical, let us say. So here the radical is formed initially and the double bond is going to move in this fashion, and thereby we are going to get one more radical. Okay. So the radical is present even on the carbon having C14 isotope. Okay. So in that case, if we are going to react, these are reacting, in that case we are going to have one more product. So both the products are the C14 isotopes are linked with one another. Okay. And one more product we can expect, in that case the one of the moiety will have a carbon 14 here, other side this way. So around 3 different types of products we can expect in this particular reaction. Okay. So if you observe the options that are given, so 3 different products are obtained in this reaction. We will discuss some more concepts about the alkanes and their preparations in the especially the previous competitive examination questions in the next class. Until then, have a nice time. Thank you.